who has paid attention to his word and listened? Behold, the storm of the Lord. Wrath has gone forth, a whirling tempest. It will burst upon the head of the wicked. The anger of the Lord will not turn back until he has executed and accomplished the intents of his heart. In the latter days you will understand it clearly. I did not send the prophets, yet they ran. I did not speak to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, then they would have proclaimed my words to my people, and they would have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their deeds.
I speak unto thee this day, and I would ask thee, how long shall men hold back on me? That is, through stubbornness and pride, through rebellion and hatred, how long shall men hold back on me, causing me sore distress and despair? I say, how long shall the nations live in violation against me, live in that which is wickedness and sin, following after folly? I say, how long shall I, the living God, tolerate the sons of men who have given themselves to idols? I say, you are living in a time when I, the living God, am thoroughly disgusted, and I say that I wring my hands in the agony of the same. That is, that men have grown so far from me, they have given themselves to every vile and unclean thing, yet I say they refuse to give themselves unto me. I say, how long must I, the living God, tolerate them before I must utterly destroy? That is, because they proudly refuse to repent and come unto me. I say this day that I, the living God, am currently searching the earth for the ones who will give themselves unto me. And I say, such ones I mark because they are special unto me. I say that they are my jewels. But I say that the ones who persist and insist in their own way, the ones who walk afar off, who go astray, are nothing to me. For I say they continue in a way that will prove to be destruction, damnation of their souls. I say this day that I, the living God, never made men to go in such a way. I never made men to live afar off from me. But I say it is because men have chosen to do what it is that they believe, more than receive the truth, the light, the mercy that I provide. That is, they have chosen to be ever determined to do what it is that they will and not what I want. And I say, because they have chosen such a course, they have chosen the way of destruction. I say this day that I, the living God, am still ever present unto the man, the woman who will walk uprightly in me. That is, I will give unto them the mercy and the light upon the path, if they continue to seek my face. But I say, if a man will harden his heart, stiffen his neck, and walk afar off from me, I say that he's liable for the wrath. For I say, you are living in a time when I, the living God, am ventilating my wrath upon the nations, upon the lands, upon the people who have turned aside from me. And I say that the ones who have long since gone a-whoring after idols, I say they are going to be under my continual wrath. For I say that I, the living God, am thoroughly disgusted. I say that I'm sickened, and I say that I've had enough. For I say it is me, the living God, who did intend that men would be cooperative with me, who did intend that men would walk uprightly in me. But I say, because men are so determined to have their own way, I say they walk afar off from me. And I say they go in a way that can only bring them to destitution and damnation of souls. I say, if you consider how dull and dumb and stupid people are in this wicked generation, I would ask thee, what is the sense of the same? That is, what is the purpose that men have made for themselves in walking afar off from me? That is, when they've chosen a way that I, the living God, do not intend for them at all, and I say they've gone a-whoring after the same, then I say that I, the living God, do not find any pleasure in them. For I say they are not a people who are agreeable unto me, but I say they are a people who have set themselves at odds with me. I say, so it is with the nations in this wicked and perverse generation. They are driving me, the living God, to pull them down. That is, because they do not recognize me, they do not respect me, and they do not walk uprightly in me. And I say, because they have chosen such a course, I say it is me, the living God, who can easily pull them down. I say it is me, the living God, who raises nations up, who pulls nations down. And I say that the very same are in my hands. And I say, when the nations will stubbornly refuse to recognize me, to walk in me, to desire me, it is me, the living God, who can bring them to naught. I say it is me, the living God, who is in this hour disgusted not only with men as individuals and women likewise, but with the nations. For I say, when the nations forget about me, I say they set themselves down the course of their own destruction. I say, when nations have grown so proud, so haughty, so high-minded, they think that they have no need to respect me as the Maker, the Creator, I say they are bringing to themselves sore dismay. That is, they are bringing to themselves magnified troubles, wherein they will find themselves under vexation day after day. That is, they will find themselves at disagreement with me, the one true God who had given them the opportunity to even be. And I say, when the nations through proud men are led astray, and they love such a way, I say they prove they are not worthy of me. Now consider, if I, the living God, do hold life and death in my hands, and I do, why do men think they can live in contempt towards me, disrespect of me, and abuse of me, and go on forever? I say it is because they have given themselves to pride, to the leaven of the same, and I say they are utter fools. I say, in this wicked, perverse, and vile generation, you will indeed see many nations brought to naught. You will indeed see many nations brought to naught. For I say it is me, the living God, who is judging the nations, and I say that they will be brought down by my hand. For I say, when the nations have resisted and resented me, I say, when they've gone whoring after the gods of the heathen, I say, when they've given themselves to that which is nothing but stupidity and darkness, I say such nations are nothing to me. For I say it is me, the living God, who is not a respecter of persons, nor am I a respecter of nations. And I say, when you see the nations that have turned aside, that have gone astray, that have gone out of my way, I say they have chosen the way of their own destruction. I say this day that I, the living God, never called men to be destroyed, but I say it is of their own choosing, because they are choosing to oppose me as their Creator. I say it is me, the living God, who does call men and women to come unto me, and I say that I send forth my Spirit to do the same. That is, I beckon, I call, I plead with them, yet I say they will not come unto me. But I say instead they have chosen the way, the course of their own damnation, and I say they are loving it so. I say, when men's hearts wax bold and evil, and I say they love iniquity, I say that I, the living God, am therefore disgusted in them. For I say that I never ever intended that men would walk in foolery, debauchery, and choose the course of their own damnation. But I say they are choosing such a way, and the consequence is they are losing out with me. For I say that I, the living God, never called men to walk in sin, but I say that I've called them to walk in the righteousness of who I am. Now stop and consider, when I made man, I made woman in the beginning. I say such ones were perfect before me. That is, they were made perfect, that they could indeed endure in fellowship with me day after day. But I say it is because they gave themselves to sin, to darkness, to the lies of the liar, and they fell for the same. And I say they are the ones who caused their own separation from me. I say no longer were they allowed in the place of continual fellowship with me, but I say they were put aside from the same. And I say it is because they had given themselves to sin, because they believed the lies and the false accusations of the liar against me. Now stop and consider, when I, the living God, do offer unto men my way in this wicked, perverse, and vile generation, I say they are meant to enter into fellowship with me. That is, they are not meant to be giving themselves to sin, to darkness, to debauchery, and failing to walk in the way that I provide. I say that I, the living God, have intended that men and women would be quick to obey me, would be quick to come forth in my way, my truth, and my life. And I say that it is me, the living God, who has intended likewise that the nations would be subject unto me. Now stop and consider that if a nation is brought forth by me, by my mercy and my truth and my light, in the sense that I've even given such a nation the privilege to be upon the earth, and such a nation continually despises my truth and rebels against me, I say that I, the living God, can easily dispose of the nations. I say you are living in a time when the nations are drunk, intoxicated, and full of pride, rebellion, and stubbornness against me. For I say, even the nations who have known me and walked in my life have turned aside. I say that I, the living God, will no longer tolerate, as I have in times past, such rebellion, stubbornness, and pride. For I say, when the pot has reached the boiling, and the substance is boiling and boiling and boiling, I say that it will indeed flow out from the pot. And I say that it will cover the stove, it will cover the vessel, it will even go unto the floor. I say, so it is right now that I, the living God, have reached the boiling, and I say that I will soon flow out in waves of wrath that men have not seen before. For I say it is me, the living God, who is thoroughly disgusted with those who have turned aside from me. And oh yes, they will laugh, they will scoff, they will mock, but I say that they are the ones who will be brought down. And I say that the proud will be caused to live in the dunghill, that is their just reward. And I say for all of those who choose to continue in whoredom, continue to choose to go on in drunkenness, stubbornness, and pride against me, I say it is me, the living God, who will vindicate my wrath. I say it is not an empty threat, it is not just merely a warning, but I say it is a time that I, the living God, am demonstrating my sore displeasure with the sons of men. And I say that I am causing to be brought to naught the proud fools who have turned aside, who have gone a-whoring, who have turned away from me. Therefore I say, in a wicked, a vile, a polluted, and corrupt generation, consider that I, the living God, will vindicate and vindicate in my fury upon the same. That is, consider that I will bring down, that I will bring low, the ones who are estranged from me. And I say that likewise I will reach out in mercy unto the ones who cry and plead for me. For I say, in the midst of my wrath, it is me, the living God, who will show mercy unto the ones who will humble themselves before me. I say it is true with the nations, if even in the midst of my wrath they would humble themselves and cry out unto me, that it is me, the living God, who would give unto them my mercy. But I say, if men will continue in their wayward ways, in their rebellion and hatred towards me, in their stubbornness, their pride, I say they will be devoured. And I say, so it is with the nations that have turned from me, the nations that have forgotten me, the nations that have given themselves to idols even for generations. I say it is me, the living God, who can easily destroy them in these times. For I say, when my wrath is kindled, I say that it will continue to boil and boil and boil until it is poured out over the sides of the pot. That is, in the sense that I will no longer keep my wrath in boundaries as I have in times past. But I say that I will allow the same to rage, to spew forth, and to boil over until it covers everywhere. I say it is not the time to walk in arrogance. It is not the time to strut in pride. It is not the time to live in rebellion. For I say it is a time that I, the living God, am judging men, I am judging women, and I say that I'm likewise judging the nations. I say there are many nations inside the nations, and they too shall be judged. For I say, so many have given themselves to indolence and pride, they have given themselves to debauchery, defilement, and I say they are purposed to destroy themselves. For I say, when men will forget about me, turn from me, and even mock me, I say it is the time that my wrath shall be ventilated upon them. And I say, do not think that I, the living God, have cooled. I say that I'm only growing hotter in the same. Because men have so grieved me, I say that I must vindicate upon them. I say, thank me and praise me.